We are able to capture the digital frequency of a state of being, emotion, spiritual state, wellness state, physical state, whatever it is. Number two, we are able to capture it digitally. Number three, we're able to send it to somebody's phone anywhere in the planet, and we can send it to any physical location on Earth. Okay, we really heard what I just said and how profound this new technology is. What is AI, first of all? AI means artificial intelligence. I am David Wong, and I'm the founder of Chi Life Mastery. I'm also a Qigong energy practitioner, meditation practitioner. I'm also the inventor of Qi coils and resonant wand systems. And I'm also a film producer and a composer, amongst other things. So I've been able to create over the last few years many technologies that's been helping many people's lives every day and being able to improve the wellness of thousands of people around the world. And I believe that this is my calling, this is my specialty, this is my expertise, and this is what I'm good at. And this is my purpose, is to bring technologies to you, to the world, that will help them become better people and help them live better lives. And I'm so happy that I'm able to do that. So if you know about my Qi codes, if you have my Qi codes, then you know what I'm talking about. If you've already started your Qi Energy AI activation program, then you probably already know, like the things that we've been able to do were considered impossible. Even now, even today, people think it's impossible. You can't do this stuff. This is scientifically impossible. It defies the laws of physics. You can't do this. It doesn't make any sense. But we show them that it's happening. It's happening. How can you deny the truth? How can you deny the evidence that it's happening and that it actually works? So once they get over their mental blocks, then they realize, wow, this actually works. You know, there's something to this. And then what they do is they start to use it more and then realize, go deeper into the rabbit hole and realize that, holy cow, this is real. Quantum energy is real. Chi energy is real. The force is real. And I can actually feel it through my phone. I can actually feel it in a physical location, which I'll explain. What is chi energy? It's various energetic phenomena not formally recognized as one of the four known forces in physics. You can call it chi, you can call it prana or kundalini. These are all terms represent subtle energy. So this is undetectable. So you can't detect it with conventional scientific instruments. There's no instrument or device that can really detect the actual energy, right? Like it's like a subspace energy. So science tells us that we live in a virtual sea of invisible fields of influence that impact our daily lives in profound ways. Yet we have little or no conscious awareness of them. Although these influences, as described by science, are invisible, they aren't strictly subtle, since they can be accounted for by the four known forces of physics. So what are the four known forces of physics? Okay, the first one is called the Earth's geomagnetic field. Okay, so that's one big, huge, invisible force, the Earth's geomagnetic field. So the Earth has a magnetic field. And the activity of the Earth magnetic field correlates with our emotions and psychological and even physiological states in human beings. So it's been proven many times that the state of the magnetic field actually improves their wellness, or opposite otherwise. That's why the astronauts in space get depressed, because they're away from Earth's magnetic fields. So what they found was they created a device kind of similar to a Qi coil. That's a Qi coil, by the way, or an aura coil. There's an aura coil here. Okay. And they broadcasted an electromagnetic field in the spaceship so that it keeps the astronauts healthier. Okay, so that's one way, is Earth's geomagnetic field. Another one is electromagnetism. So we experience electromagnetism through a lot of the devices we see today. Like, for example, cell phones have electromagnetism. Your screen you're looking at has electromagnetism. So the right amount of electromagnetism, the frequency of it, the amplitude, will determine whether it's healthy for you or not. So that's what we based our Qi codes and aura codes and most of our devices on, is based on electromagnetic therapy. If you study PEMF, pulse electromagnetic therapy, there's hundreds, thousands of studies now on it. They've been able to, help with cancer, help with diabetes, help with anything. Accelerated healing. It's been PMF have been. There's so many studies. Just search PMF scientific studies, and you're going to see hundreds or thousands of studies done by scientists all over the world over the last 50 years. Okay, so electromagnetism is another invisible force that can benefit mankind and benefit you. Another force is nuclear force. So nuclear force, the strong nuclear force, is the force that holds the particles and the atoms together, right? So we have the electrons and the protons and the neutrons and so on. There's a nuclear force that holds everything together. If it wasn't for a nuclear force, everything will go into chaos and there won't be anything in existence. So there's another invisible force that we experience, in reality. Another one is called the biophotonic field. So if you didn't know, our bodies actually emit photons. You can actually emit photon particles, especially from your hands and your fingertips, these two fingertips. So Qigong masters, they can emit a ton of biophotons through their hands. And you can actually measure this with a biophoton meter to measure the actual number of photons that are being emitted by the body. So this is proven. And it is said that biophotons is the means of how DNA communicates with your body and actually communicate with outside of your body. So these are crucial things, and it's invisible, but we can measure them with devices. So those are the 4 different kinds of conventional physics, invisible forces, as you can say, that we can measure, that affect us every day. So in the early years of science, for example, people could not measure electromagnetism. They didn't even know it existed. People could not measure photons. People could not measure the nuclear forces before they discovered it. It's always been there, right? But when they discovered it, then they were able to measure it. So it was only in the last 100 years that we were actually able to discover these things that have been there ever since the beginning of time. So Qi, energy, is just like one of those things. Today, we still don't have a device to measure Qi, energy, but eventually we will have a device that will measure Qi energy. And doesn't mean that it's just that science hasn't caught up to it. But the interesting thing is that, okay, well, then how do you know that your technology is working? Well, we can actually measure the effects very clearly on human beings. For example, we turn it on, and then the person's biofield gets big or huge. We turn it off, and it gradually gets smaller. We turn it on, and then it gets big again. We turn it off, and it gradually gets smaller. We turn it on, and the heart rate variability improves. We turn it off, and it gradually, goes back to normal. So you see what I'm saying? We can use it, and we clearly can see that its effects on humans. And we can actually see its effects on plants and animals too. If you go to our website, qienergy.ai, we also talk about energy signatures, right? So what is an energy signature? So basically, our whole world has a code, and the whole world is governed by some kind of code, some kind of matrix. And it's how we ensemble that information and how that code, that blueprint or that hologram expresses itself. That's how basically we come into existence. So it's like our DNA. Our DNA is a code, and then based on that code, our body grows, and then it turns into what we exist, like how we look. I have black hair. I have 10 fingers, and I have red lips, and so on. Okay, so when there's a code, then there's also signatures. So when we can decipher a code for a certain thing, certain emotion, for example, let's say there's the emotion of joy. Well, is there a frequency? Yes, there is. See, there's a lot of medical doctors, PhDs that says, you got to change your frequency. You change your frequency, and you're going to change your reality, right? And they say, okay, how do you do it? Okay, you meditate, and then you focus on that frequency, and it's great, awesome. But what is the frequency? Can you write it down on a piece of paper and tell me what that frequency is? And most people can't, because it's something experiential. It's something that you have to meditate and have to get into. You have to feel that frequency. Okay? So far, that's what that's been saying about frequencies. Until now. Because what if there was a way to capture that frequency and capture it digitally, so that you can put it onto a computer, put it into a computer chip. Take the frequency of joy, for example, that emotion, and program it into a computer chip. What if we were able to do that? And guess what? That's what we've been doing. That's what we've done. We're not even the first to do it. There's a researcher who have been meditating for 50 years, and him and a group of meditators got together, and then their purpose was to send the intention of raising the pH level of a glass of water. And all they did was just focus on that intention into a microchip. So they meditated and they did that, and what they did was they took that microchip that they infused the intention with. They sent it to a lab. They put it in front of a bunch of glasses of water. And guess what happened? The glass of water that they targeted, that pH level went up just because of the microchip. So they were able to program their intention into a microchip. Isn't that mind-blowing? So yeah, consciousness can be digitized. Did you hear just what I said? Consciousness can be digitized. Okay, so if you watched The Matrix, you know what I'm talking about, right? Or you watch Chappie, you know how you put the consciousness into a robot. So consciousness can be digitized. And that's exactly what we've done. So if we can digitize consciousness and a frequency or an emotion, then can't we send it to your phone? And can't we send it through the quantum consciousness or the universal consciousness? And can't we send it to a phone number? Can't we send it to a home? Can't we send it to somewhere? Of course. Right? All you have to figure out is, number one, how to measure the frequency of an emotion or a state of mind, okay? Or a state of being, or even a spiritual state, whatever state, that code. You have to, first of all, how do you decipher the code? Number one. Number two, now you decipher the code, how do you capture it digitally? How do you capture it and then convert it into a digital format? That's another big obstacle. Number three, now that you captured it onto digital format, how do you send it to somebody wirelessly, remotely, faster than the speed of light, anywhere in the world? How do you do that? That's another huge undertaking, isn't it? We were probably the first people on Earth, first group, and I'm one of the first people who actually make it so easily available to everybody. Okay, and what we've done was we broke through those three barriers. We were able to capture the digital frequency of a state of being, emotion, spiritual state, wellness state, physical state, whatever it is. Number two, we are able to capture it digitally. Number three, we're able to send it to somebody's phone, anywhere on the planet, and we can send it to any physical location on Earth. If you heard what I just said, you would be like in awe right now. Okay, if you really heard what I just said and how profound this new technology is. Okay, so, and if you don't believe me, that's fine. Try it out and see if you can feel it. Okay, just test it out for yourself. Okay, so that's what an energy signature is. We're able to capture, and not only can we capture, we actually, because it's digital, we can amplify it millions of times. Okay, so there's technology, there may be similar technology out there, and then they say, okay, yeah, we can send energy to you. And it kind of works, but then it's not that strong, because they haven't figured out another secret that we have, is how to amplify that digital signature. Okay, how to amplify it. So what we do is we take it, we amplify it millions, hundreds of thousands, millions of times, so that it's so powerful, so strong. And then a lot of times we actually have to turn it down so that it doesn't overwhelm people. So that's something that nobody else has in the world right now. Right. So we capture, amplify, and we entangle. Those two things. And nobody's been able to really do it to the point that we've been able to do it. Okay. Just some feedback that we've got recently since people have been trying it. Here's something from Mark. I thought frequencies using the coils was fantastic, but this takes it to another level. I found the effects almost immediately for more physical considerations, and I'm also excited to try the abundance frequency. Okay, that's from Mark. Another review from Andrea. The dream frequency is truly a godsend. Initially, I wanted to have better sleep, and after trying a few different frequencies, the dream one worked best for me, and I was able to fall asleep faster and deeper. One side effect I didn't foresee was that the cause of my lack of sleep was that we had a baby and he's waking up every 3 hours. And after using the frequency, after a week, the baby only wakes up once or twice a night, and now he doesn't wake up, sometimes doesn't even wake up. So it's well worth the money of this frequency because it basically saves my life. That's why she said, but I don't have it ready, guys, because I talked to her, and that's what she said. This is incredibly powerful. I spent with these energy signatures twice or 2 to 3 hours, and it gave a big surge of energy. I felt it in my body. I feel a surge of energy so strong I had to urgently do a strength workout. Another one from Rahul. Just wow, I started meditating just after playing these energy signatures. Even though the energy signature was playing, I was able to hear my heart pumping, breathing, blood flowing through my veins, and the sound of silence. I was aware of every little sensation arising in the body's surface. So I was able to really deepen your meditation. Here's another one. Extremely helpful during night shifts, 12 hours of work. Usually I needed 4 to 5 cups of hot coffee, and now I just use these energy signatures 10 minutes every 3 hours, and it's enough for me to stay energized and alert. Sleepiness and mind fog disappear in the first couple of minutes, and it's healthier than caffeine. I simply love it. That's from Thomas. Stephanie says, wow, I feel like melting butters type sensation. My muscles are enjoying the relaxing benefits. I don't suffer any sleep problems anymore. But I had a really good night's sleep after running these energy signatures. So that's some feedback. So why did I create this, right? Well, I saw a lot of things happening. I saw, right now there's a cost of goods going up. There's inflation. It's going to be harder and harder for people to stay healthy because the price of even supplements and price of medication is going to be skyrocketing. Every year is going up. And now with inflation, it's going to be even more unaffordable for medication and for people to stay healthy, to buy whole foods and to eat organic. It's going to be more expensive, and then there's also 5G, and there's also all these crazy things happening in the world that are causing shortages and things like that. So I said, I need to make something digital that is so low cost that everybody can afford it, and that they don't have to go to the store to get it. And even if the store shuts down, even if the government freezes your bank account, you're still going to get this energy, and you're still going to be able to improve your wellness. So I wanted something to do that was able to do that. And that's exactly what we've created. And people ask, well, how does this work together with all your other technologies? And they actually work together all synergistically. So we have our chi coils, as you can see. So people ask, okay, well, how is this different from chi coils? So if you don't know what chi coil is, this is a chi coil, okay? And you plug it in to a power supply that comes with it, and it plugs into your phone. It comes in sets of 2. This is just one of them. And chi coils are very powerful, and this is it's got a yin and a yang direction, and so chi energy AI it works together with that. And it works also together with our frequencies, and it works together with our education system too. So everything that we released, everything that we've created and built, all work together synergistically. So they actually are more than the sum of its parts. So if you want to get the full experience of chi energy, then you would use everything together. Jennifer says, husband, myself, and my son reacts positively to this AI program. Awesome. Finally, I'm glad you were able to get that set up. As a inner circle member, can I grandfather with the same price into the program for a full year now? Yes, you can do that. So just talk to our sales team, and they can help you with that. We can whatever you pay, we can credit that towards the full year. Okay. From YouTube, Optimus, can your company handle large volume orders, and if so, how high volume can it handle? Yes, we can handle very high volume because it is fully scalable with our system. It's completely digitized. So, and we have a very well-trained and full-time customer service team and a full development team. So we can handle the volume. If you want to, if you were thinking about partnering with us, if you want to send a lot of customers and or referrals, then you should contact us at support@qenergy.ai, and we can talk about doing a collaboration or something. Fabian says, I received great feedback from the demo. Can you tell me what kind of feedback did you get? That's my social profile, so you can go ahead and write those down. But you can search for Chi Life Mastery or David Wong on Twitter. You might find me there. But I'm not on there much. I'm mostly on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and TikTok. Okay, so if you have any questions, go ahead and email us at support@qenergy.ai, or you can just visit the website, qenergy.ai. There's an FAQ section. You can give us a call as well if you have some questions. How far do the waves reach? I would say around 6 to 10 feet around the phone. If it's in the house, then it'll just be in the entire house, maybe like a few feet outside of the house as well. Jennifer says, I do have to thank you, David, because this is the first time in my life I see my son jump to his feet to do things. Also, my husband is able to get up immediately to do things for me too. Wow, great. See, that's worth more than money, isn't it? You can't buy that. Money can't buy you those things. All right? Like, things are going to happen that money can't buy. A lot of things you can't buy with money. And then Jennifer just says, you see life. Your son has more life. And husband has more life. That's just amazing. Mark says, I love that I can send frequencies to my son in college. Yeah. So that's another cool thing. And that reminds me, like, one of the reasons I'm really passionate about this is because I wanted to help my mom recover from her stroke, right? She had a stroke a couple years back and she still has trouble walking. Ever since I sent the frequency to her house, I asked her, how's your walking? I said, oh, really good. And I never hear her say the words really good. She'd say, oh, I'm okay. Oh, I'm fine. But she said, she's really good. It's like one of the first times I heard her say that. And she said, yeah, she's walking and walking more. And all I did was just schedule the quantum recovery to her house during the day. Now, that's why the scheduling is important, because you can schedule it during the day. But if you have it playing all through the night, it might be too much energy and then makes the person can't sleep. So what I do is I first started, let's say, 3 hours for the quantum recovery. And I did that every day, right? And then I asked her how she felt. And then she said, oh, I woke up this morning and I was really dizzy. So from that, I knew that it was too strong. So what I did was I turned it down a notch. So I went from high to medium, or from medium to low. So I turned down a notch. And then the next day I asked her, how's your feelings? Oh, I'm not dizzy anymore. So, but I still feel pretty good. So that's how I found I got the right thing. The next thing, I test another frequency. I test the quantum dream during nighttime. So I would play that. I ask her, okay, when do you go to sleep? When do you wake up? And I'll play it let's say about 2 or 3 hours while she's in the middle of deep sleep. And then I ask her, okay, how do you feel? How is your sleep? And she said, oh, really, really fantastic. So I know that that's working as well. So if you have somebody that you're sending this to, this is what I would do. I would test one frequency at a time, ask them if they feel dizzy, how they're feeling. If they're feeling dizzy, turn it down. If they're not feeling anything, so I don't feel anything, then turn it up a bit and try it for another day or two. And by the end of it, you created, after a week or two, you would have created a plan, or Chi Energy plan, for the person that's going to send it to them every day. And the cool thing is, you don't have to do anything after that. They're going to keep getting that energy every single day of their life. And their wellness will improve every single day. That's how powerful this system is. There's nothing on the planet that does this right now. Yeah, Kristen says, it is more than reasonably priced for the value. My son got his in his house. Okay, good. Suzanne says, if you send to the address, it covers more square footage than if you send to the phone. Yes, it does. So if you have a big house, then it will cover a lot more if you send to the address than just through your phone. How many people can you schedule at a time? It depends how many slots you have. So Like for example, the premium plan has 5 phones, so then you can send to 5 people at a time. And you can only change the phone number once every 45 days. So you have 5 phone numbers, you can send it to 5 people. So the premium plan got 5 phone numbers, 2 addresses. So technically you can send it to 7 different people, 5 different phone numbers and 2 different addresses if you want. Thank you for your support so far. And like I said last week, it's without your support, I won't be able to do all these things and create all these technologies. So thank you for your continued patronage and following. My team and I spent over 20 years to develop this. And so it's and a lot of money put into developing this so that you can have this opportunity, so that you can have and experience this Qi energy. And now it's become a dream come true for me to be able to do this and create something like this. So thank you so much, and I hope to talk to you soon. Use the Qi and prosper.